San Francisco? Yeah. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you about San Francisco. San Francisco ain't did a thing for me. I mean, ever since I got out of high school, I had a couple of jobs. I worked at a couple of hat companies and warehouses. I mean, after a while, they say, I guess we're going to lay you off for a couple of weeks, you know. All right, they talk about the South. The South is not half as bad as San Francisco. You want me to tell you about San Francisco? I'll tell you about San Francisco. The white man, he's not taking advantage of you out in public like they're doing down in Birmingham, but he's killing you with that pencil and paper, brother. When you go to look for a job, can you get a job? Can you get a job, Winkle?
This is San Francisco Americans pretend does not exist. They think I'm making it up.
National Educational Television presents Take This Hammer. This is a film report on a visit to the city of San Francisco by the novelist, essayist, and playwright, James Baldwin. Mr. Baldwin's guide on this tour of the city is the Executive Director of Youth for Service, Orville Luster.
San Francisco, I know New York, and New York, all Northerners, everybody seems to feel because they're not in Mississippi, they pay their dues. They don't know why Negro Boy turns into a junkie, or why when he does carry a knife, why he carries it. And they aren't able to make any kind of connection between the aspirations which the country expects him to be contented with, and the simple fact that he's a human animally, just like everybody else. And what he's emerging from is only more or less frustration and demoralization, despair and bitterness. Which at least in the South is all birds. But here, in such a city as San Francisco, where everyone is so liberal and so civilized and so literate, they go under the rug, maybe even sell where it can't grow up in our house.
I think the truth is that everyone, on the one hand, is fundamentally capable of paying his dues. But no one pays his dues willingly. Yeah. And the white man, like the black man, like any other man on earth, can pay his dues if he realizes that that's what he's got to do. As long as you think there's some way to get through life without paying your dues, you're going to be bankrupt. Because the bill has come in. It's not coming in. It is in. The great question now is precisely what we've got in the bank. This, of course, is everything we think we have. Everything. And Birmingham is an incident, which may become a shrine. What is really crucial is whether or not the country, the people in the country, the citizenry, are able to recognize that there is no moral distance, which is to say no distance, between the facts of life in San Francisco and the facts of life in Birmingham. And there is no moral distance, which is to say no distance between President Kennedy and Bull Connor, because the same machine put them both in power. One's got to call it, one's got to tell it like it is. And that's where it's at.
And this is part of our redevelopment also.
What do you mean? You say redevelopment meaning?
You mean the removal of Negroes.
Yes, that's what I thought you meant.
In other words, a lot of the Negroes who came because the Japanese were pushed out, now being pushed out themselves. That's right.
In effect, San Francisco is reclaiming this.
That's right.
This property.
That's right.
To build it up, which means Negroes have to go.
That's right. And
where are they going to go?
Well, they're going out to Hunters Point, into the Haight-Ashbury area, and also into Ocean View, and wherever they can find reasonable rents.
Yeah.
South of Market and all these other places, wherever they can find cheap rent. In other words, going from one ghetto to the other.
Yes, yes.
I'd like to acquaint you with San Francisco as a whole, Mr. Baldwin, and I think mostly what that's being watched here today is something black. And young people go to school together, they graduate off the same stage, and then when it comes to jobs, the black face is not qualified. But they graduate, then my daughter has to go clean up the same girl's house that she graduated off the stage. As I said, the most thing that's being watched is the black face.
So what we were talking about last night coming into the airport was the real situation of Negroes in the city,
Yes.
as opposed to the image
That's right.
San Francisco would like to present.
Yes.
Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about it? I know a lot about New York. I'm a stranger here. Let's say, I'm sure the principal holds. I'm curious about the details.
Well, one thing about it, in this particular area, about 80% of the people in this area are Negro. This is a real large housing project. There's, as far as delinquency is concerned, we'll rank about 4. The job situation is bad. This is a real black belt of San Francisco. And I think that the lady over to your left, Mrs. Nichols, is a good representative of one of the indigenous leaders in this area.
Tell me something which may sound like a stupid question. But it's a question I have to ask myself all the time. What precisely do you say to a Negro kid to invest him with a morale which the country is determined he shan't have? Or to spell it out more specifically, I mean, dealing with a Negro kid and trying to insist that he know that he can do anything he wants to do. How do you make him believe it?
That's a difficult question. I think that that one of the main things that we have to make them believe, you know, they say everybody can be the president of the United States, and then this boy grows up and he comes up, by the time he gets 40 to 50 years old, he begins to find out that this is not true, and to make him be able to face what's coming to him in the future.
There'll be a Negro president in this country.
And there will be a Negro president in this country. Why do you say that?
We can't get jobs, how are we going to be a president?
Exactly. But I want you to think about this. There will be a Negro president of this country. But it will not be the country that we are sitting in now. But if you say to yourself, there never will be a Negro president of this country, then what you're doing is agreeing with white people who say you are inferior. It's not important, really, you know, whether or not there's a Negro president. I mean, in that way. What's important is that you should realize that you can become the president. There's nothing anybody can do that you can't do.
Well, the truth is that I don't think this is an exaggeration, I think the truth still is that even to get to the most meager opportunity, you've got to be at least 5 times as good as anybody else around. 5 times as good, not only at the job, but this is what is so dangerous, I think. You have to have a certain, the boys that I grew up with, I grew up in the streets in Harlem. And now the survivors, what marks all the survivors, is a certain ruthlessness, which was absolutely indispensable when we're going to survive. And the country doesn't realize, I'm sure, that Negro operators, who are really the smoothest and toughest operators in the world. When I say operators, I don't mean anything wicked. I mean somebody who has looked at it, knows what the score is, knows what he is, and doesn't buy any of the moral jazz about America, about good and evil and upright and all this, all of these things which the country in effect uses only
to keep the Negro in his place, because the country doesn't believe it, obviously. It doesn't live that way itself. So there's a whole race of people who are in effect an underworld, which I think is very crucial.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Don't have to work. Don't have to work for nobody. And I can make it. Don't have to work. How do you make it? See how I make it. This stuff I'm going to tell them how I make it. I'm indicting myself, but I thought you go back and tell the police what I did. I didn't say you were doing that. So you were talking that for. And so I thought to you that I robbed the bank and lost that. You believe that? Well, no, if you don't say it. I ain't gonna say I didn't do that.
The same kids we're talking about now, their real problem is they cannot find in the country any reason to accept anything the country says. And they're very young, so they can't find anything else either. And this is how they end up, for example, on the needle. It's a crime committed by one section of the populace against another section of the populace. And it's a crime which really could destroy this country. What do you think about the police?
I think they have a purpose, but then, again, the way some of these people do you sometimes when they pick you up, stop you. Well, like a couple of times we'd be downtown just walking around, they look at you. If you look suspicious, they would just stop you. Like I was going to the show one night, me and my wife, and we just happened to go around Market Street, and we seen this police car go by. All right, we could turn the corner. The next corner, they meet us and they stop us. All right, the show starts at 7:45. We were out there till 9 o'clock. But then they didn't have no excuse to stop us. They stopped us, searched the car, and called in and this and that. And what was the purpose of that? We weren't doing anything wrong. Nobody was mad. Let me ask you one thing. What do police do when they get mad?
What do police do when they get mad?
I mean, we ordinary citizens, and we get mad, and we can do things to hurt people and rob and steal. What do they do when they get mad? Who do they take their steam off on?
I think you know the answer to that question.
Well, I couldn't answer that because the police has never bothered me in that way, but I read newspapers, and I've been living around here all my life, and I see things going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, when a policeman gets mad, he's got a gun and he's got a club.
And he uses them too, though.
Yeah. Tell me something else. Do you think the police protect you?
Well, like you say, they got to make a living, too. They got wives and families, kids to take care of. I mean, that's just a job to them. Some of it is just a way to make some money. It's not no hard work, actually. I mean, it's hard when they run up against somebody. They got to stop somebody from taking something or go chase a robber or something like that. I mean, it might be considered hard then when their lives in danger. But other than that, what's hard about it, riding around in the car looking or walking up and down the streets looking? What's hard about that?
Nothing. You got no argument.
Well, this other thing, these dogs. What about them? Are they necessary?
What do you think?
I don't think they are. Because when they put a dog on a man, it's just like sending another animal to fight another animal. The dog don't know that this is not another animal. He's taught to do one thing. And when he bites somebody, he's going to hurt him.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about dogs, I think it's a crime, worse than a crime, for a civilized country which says it's civilized, to use dogs against men. That's what I think. And we all know that black people in this country are the lowest of the low. Everybody spends day and night telling you so. So when the dogs are used, they're used against you, us.
And what about the Negro police? They use dogs too.
Yeah, baby. Cops are cops.
I mean, they all just one of a kind, and that's right. When they got their uniform.
That's right.
So in other words, a Negro becomes a policeman, he thinks like a white man.
I like to say that I said white man. I wouldn't say the northern because we do have some right here. They'll think they're the white farmers also.
Oh, yes, I know that. They think that because they haven't got signs up saying white and colored, that they're somehow better than the people in Birmingham.
It's one thing that's the difference in San Francisco and Birmingham. It is that San Francisco is whitewashed.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, it's under the rug.
Yeah.
It has a headline check. Everyone in San Francisco, every white person in San Francisco pretend to have got a Negro problem. Everywhere I have been in this country, you talk to a white person who says regulations are excellent, and I get to find a single Negro in this country who agrees to that.
And then if you ask that the Negro have a better opportunity, ask that the Negro be hired in a large firm, they'll reach out and hire one, that's to shut your mouth.
And put him in the window.
Yeah, or either give him a mop.
Or a mop, yes, yes.
Well, Mr. Baldwin, I'd like to also say that Hunter's Point seems to me, in my opinion, in my way I'm looking at it, Hunter's Point is just like being in Alabama right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that we don't, some of the ones that can't go down, we can march on San Francisco for the black man, to help the black woman. We can do that here because it has been stated that until we work on this, San Francisco and other areas, New York and all, Chicago and all around, that we can get something done. We can help our brothers in the South.
Yes.
Those, the black people in Alabama are my people.
Yes, yes.
Primarily, I'm from Texas. But anywhere in the South, anywhere a Negro, a black man is involved, I'm there. I'm the mother of 5 kids, the mother of a 9-week-old baby. But if the time comes where I can't march here in San Francisco, I certainly will beg Barry a ticket to go to Alabama. And I am ready. But it's just because of the baby, and he is a breastfed baby, is the reason why I can't go right now. But if it means that I'll have to march in, I'll march feeding my baby right here for the black man or my children. That's the way I feel.
Yes. I suppose that no one in San Francisco has any sense of what a dangerous area this is.
And I think this is one of the real troubles, is that the Negro has, in San Francisco, he doesn't really know his place because it hasn't been really spelled out. I mean, he's trying to find his place, and it's so, this is one of the problems, I mean, what place is it for me? He came out to escape. And then you keep trying.
Another prison.
That's right. You find yourself facing the Pacific Ocean. There's no place else to go.
Yes.
Now you can see this is more residence, apartments and so forth. It's going down, and will soon be to Market Street.
The great problem is how in the world one is going to invest these children with a new morale, with some sense of their own worth. Because the country isn't going to do it. The country won't do it. I suppose one could say that at the moment the country can't do it. It doesn't give it much sense of its own worth.
It's something that troubles me too, because...
Well, it's almost insoluble. I don't know. One can't afford to say it's insoluble, but it's very rough.
And too, like the parents, what do they tell their kids, They see them suffering, they see them trying to strive for these many things, and what do they tell them, because they themselves can't escape.
They themselves cannot escape. And the children are demoralized by that, too.
We have no race to detail. We have no cut flags. No cut. I'm going back on this white man. Oh.
Tell me what you mean.
I don't mean take what you want.
Tell me what you mean.
What I mean?
Yeah.
I'm transplant. I'm transplant. I don't have nothing over here.
No.
Don't have it, it's nothing.
Oh, let it go.
I don't have anything.
How long have you felt that way?
How long I felt that way? Since 1956. Yeah.
Why did you feel that way? Why did you feel that way?
Because I realized what a dark white man was.
How did you come to realize that?
When he got to start jumping on me and putting me in jail and everything,
Where did that happen?
Where?
Yeah.
Right here in San Francisco, California. Wouldn't that?
Tell me how it started.
How it started?
Yeah.
What you mean how it started?
Tell me about the first time you were arrested.
The first time I was arrested?
Yeah.
Well, that was,
that
was in 1948.
That was in 1948?
Yeah.
What for?
Well, I don't know what they call it, but I got caught in a bedroom with a little white girl. Juvenile.
Where was that?
Right here in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yes.
How old were you in 1948?
8.
What?
8.
Brother, what white man will get you on your knees, brother?
You were 8 years old.
Yeah.
You were 8 years old in 1948.
Yeah.
You were caught in bed with a little white girl.
Yeah.
And you went to jail.
Yeah.
When you were 8.
Yeah.
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
Look, you learn from the world you live in, brother. That's why I didn't teach you nothing in this book, but what you want to know. You ain't gonna know nothing about it.
He's not even teaching me about the future of my people.
What you go to school for then, dummy?
We don't even have a country.
I know that.
Do we have a country?
He said, it's your country, which is not your country. What flag go on a black man's flag? You have no flag, brother. No flag at all. How did a hamburger sell? Give me 30 cents. Now, you know what my phone is. You're big man. You 30 cents. I'm giving my phone. He ain't holding my phone. You holding it.
Well, look, I'm
Give me 30 cents. Give me 30 cents to see it again. See how it's supposed to be your brother. This man can't even do 30 cents. No, brother.
I got 30 cents.
No, I want him to give me 30 cents. I want him to give me 30 cents.
But look, I mean,
I want you to give me 30 cents.
man,
No, I ain't going to. I want you to give me 30 cents. I choose.
Now, look, I'm going to ask him. When I give you the 30 cents, now, what does this mean to you when I give you 30 cents?
It means that we're true brothers, brother.
Because I give you 30 cents.
You didn't give me nothing.
Well, now,
give me nothing.
Now, when I give you this 30
You help
cents,
me out.
I'm helping you out, and I'm your true brother now because I give you 30
You ain't
cents.
my true brother. I didn't say that. You're my brother, but not true brother.
All right, now, what does this really mean to you, this 30 cents?
This 30 cents? Well, I'll tell you what it means. I can go out and buy me a can of beans like all of these, man. Beans, we can't eat no ham and hog, no pork chop and chicken and everything. Go out there and can't afford it, brother.
What do you eat mostly? I mean, what do you eat? Do you really eat that old soul food? I mean, do you like it?
Soul food? What you mean soul food? What you talking about, John?
Pork and all that kind of stuff.
No,
you ain't no pork.
No pork.
I'm going to have you and you no pork. All right. Okay. I'm going to give you 30 cents.
But that what it meant. It meant give me 30 cents.
Hold it up.
Now, what up? Now, wait.
Hey, that's 30 cents.
All right, go ahead.
My brother here. You didn't want to give it up, did you? You didn't want to give it up.
Because of what, of your statement of saying I had to be a true, because I think the guys know me.
I don't even know you, miss. What's your name? My name is Willie. What's your name? Arvin. You work for police department, don't you, brother?
No, I don't work for police. I work
Juvenile?
for you for service.
Juvenile. Us. Man, work for yourself, brother. You ain't got no suit on like he do you? Look at this shoe. Look at this shoe. You been sitting up for yours. He come at $35. What are you talking about?
Come on, Al. Let's go up to it. The people, we not going to get nothing. Not by sitting around here doing these sitting demonstrations and nothing. People not going to do anything.
Well, how are we going to do it?
By violence. Violence. By uprising, having a revolution.
But there are 20 million of us.
20 million. That's enough.
Not these days and not in those terms.
Oh, it's enough.
They're scattered. 48 states.
48 states, get them together.
How?
Through Islam.
What?
The true religion, you know? Get all the people together, get all them believing one thing, and then they can't help but stick together. I mean, we can't stick together now. Half of us Christians, the other half Baptists, you know, some Jews and all that. And what good is that going to do us?
So you think the only thing we can do
is get together.
Have an armed uprising?
Really? Just put blood, you know. Let everybody bleed a little bit. That's the only way we're going to get anything. What happened to the people in Birmingham?
Well, Birmingham isn't over yet.
Yeah, it's over. Oh, yeah, it's over. It's over. It's over. They done sent in the state trooper, the federal. It's all over now. People, they had a little old show Sunday night, you know. That was the only thing they did. When they was marching around in them thousands and thousands, wasn't nothing happening. They got mad Sunday. Jumped on a few of them. Sent a few of them to the hospital. Then what happened? They said, we're going to give you what you want, huh? Yeah. That ain't nothing. Ain't going to get nothing.
Now, the Negro teenager doesn't have any possibility, as we sit here now, I mean, as of this moment, this is not historical, does not have any possibility of accepting American history, which he has no way of learning it, because it has not been and it is not being taught. There is no possibility for him to begin to act on what we always like to think of as the American assumptions, you know, a man's a man for all that and all that jazz. It isn't that he wouldn't. It's because there's no possibility of his doing so, because the country intends to keep him in his place, and still does. So the only way a Negro teenager can make it is to step outside that system. You know, to become an effective criminal on whatever level. No, to become an operator, you know, like really to make it, or to turn to Malcolm X.
They trying to tear down our homes, brother. And when the white man try to tear down your homes, then it's time for you to do something. But what can we do? We don't know anything about what's going on. I mean, we try to go to the meetings and things like that. We watch the television. We watch all this about Birmingham down there. Just like Malcolm X said yesterday on television. He said the white man, he talk about truth and this man, Mr. King, he down there talking about can we get some kind of cooperation? Can we get some kind of truth down there? Or what are they doing down there? They're not doing anything. I'm calling him a chump, just like Malcolm X called him. He's a chump, and I think a black Muslim is right in some of his doings, and I think that a truce down there is impossible. It's utterly impossible. It's fantastic, and it's unbelievable. And I tell you this. Wait, let me tell you. Now, they talking about better jobs. Jobs right here. You want to tell you what kind of job they're going to give us? They're going to let us tear down our own homes out here in Hunters Point. That's the job we getting. And you know what they're going to pay us? Let me tell you what they're going to pay us. They're going to pay you $2 an hour. They're going to holler some kind of apprenticeship deal or something like that. Now, man, what else is that gaining you? It's not gaining you a thing. You won't get anything. They'll help you tear down your own homes. It's a job temporarily. And then what you going to do? Where you going to live? You're not going to live anywhere. They're not even in the process of trying to tell you where you're going to live. All they're talking about is tearing down Hunters Point. How long have you been in San Francisco? Well, I've been in San Francisco about 18 years, ever since I was about a year or two old.
And you live around here, too?
Yeah.
In a temporary housing?
No, I said the project. That's a temporary house. There ain't no temporary house no more. They tearing them down.
That's just a temporary house, not a permanent house.
There ain't no more. We ain't gonna be no place when they get through.
Lighten up, bro.
We're gonna be living out on the street.
Make you feel bad?
Yeah, it make you feel bad. Won't be no place to go. We be living out here on the streets in tents.
Where would you like to go if you could? What part of San Francisco would you like to go?
I can stay up here on top of the hill.
You would? How long have you been living on top of the hill?
Ever since I've been born.
I got beaten up, baby, at people's parties. Where they invited me. I was at the party, for example, the opening of the Blacks. My brother was there. The Blacks is John Genet's play. You know, people reduced it would be what we call liberal. But there was a girl at the party who was flirting with my brother. She looked like Brunhilde. And this upset the host, who was drunk. And what happened was that it was a big party, and I was wearing, David was on the other side of the room with this big blonde chick, so what? Who cares? And then David came over to me and said that he was going. I knew he wasn't going because he wanted to. I could tell, it was my brother. I thought something was wrong. Something was the matter. And the host came over then and said that he asked my brother to leave. And I said, why? And he said he wouldn't tell me. And I said, you're not going to throw my brother out unless you throw me out. You're not going to throw me out until you tell me why. And we had a fist fight. Wow. This is Jack Tar Hotel. Yes. Good God. What is it? I can't imagine what it's made out of. Now we're turning on to Van Ness Road. Here's where all the cars sold and everything else. And this is what was that? The St. Mary's Cathedral. This bomb building here. Yeah. I mean, not bomb, but I mean this fire. Bomb. That was a fire. But this is going to be torn down, but this will not be the site of the cathedral. They're going to change it. Really, it's horrible. Look at it.
Oh, yeah. This was started one night. They had some of the kids were having a dance in the downstairs basement. Didn't take it very long. It just gutted the whole thing. But as a result, the Catholic Church was able to raise $15 million to build another cathedral.
Some people know how to make it.
And they did it in 9 months.
Wow.
They did it in 9 months.
Wow. As far as organized religion can be said to play any role. It's played a role very much like, I mean this. It's played a role very much like that of Ross Barnett. Now, I know they think they haven't. I know they think that I know they think they're Christians. And I know they're not. Because I know I was raised Christian. You know, my daddy and my mama were very religious. And they knew that white Christians were not Christians because of the way they treated black people. And the Christian church in this country has never, in my experience, never as far as I know, been Christian. The record is much more than shameful. The record proves that as we stand here as of this moment, the Christian church is bankrupt. There's not a single person I could turn to if I were trying to deal with one of those boys you were talking to yesterday. If I tried to tell him to go to church or even suggested the name of Jesus Christ, he spit in my face. And it's not because he doesn't like my face. It's because of what white Christians have done and do and now deny. All of these churches are absolutely meaningless. They're almost blasphemous. If they don't mean it, they should say so. Christianity has become a kind of social club. You have to have a membership card to get in. Black people can't have a membership card. Actually, Christianity at the moment looks rather like that church. That shell.
It's the God shops. I mean, what place?
The God shops. I think the God shops, I know the God shops there that console a whole lot of desperate people. What we can here call the failure of Christianity, really. You know. People in the God shops there, it gives them it's only one of the few places they can go to find any way of getting through their day. Dealing with the landlord and pawnbroker and the children and the whole horrible complex of forces which bear you down every day. One can no longer accept this whole notion of heaven later, concentration camp here.
One of the crucial things about being an American Negro is that one has always looked at the man because you had to look at him. There was no one else to look at. And he had power, the gun, Bible, all that, And one had to find out who he was in order to keep alive. What's happened by this time is that we know who he is. Speaking now only as a Negro. What's happened to the master and the descendants of the master? He never had to look at all. He assumed that I was only there to give him a cigar and to make him and to cheer him up when he didn't feel too well. He suddenly discovered that wasn't my role at all.
I imagine it'd be easy for any white person walking through San Francisco to imagine that everything was at peace. It certainly looks that way on the surface. San Francisco is much prettier than New York. It's easier to hide in San Francisco than it is in New York. Because you got the view, you got the hills, you got the San Francisco legend too, which is that it's cosmopolitan and forward-looking. But it's just another American city. And if you're a black man, that means it's a very bitter thing to say. Children dying here, they are in New York for the very same reason. The city is a somewhat better place to lie about it, which really all it comes to. Nobody wants to destroy the image of San Francisco. It's the Negro housing project, in effect.
Yes, well, there's a few Caucasians staying in,
Uh-huh. Well, I know a lot about housing projects in New York. But I'm sure this isn't different at all.
No, house there some of the same problems, although the building, the exterior looks...
Well, the exterior looks marvelous. It's the whole point.
Yes.
But I know what goes on inside. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure that in the housing project, I know the housing project in New York, the kids despise it. Better housing in the ghetto is simply not possible. You can build a few better plans, but you cannot do anything about the moral and psychological effects of being in the ghetto. This is the point. Everybody living in those housing projects is just as endangered as ever before by all the things that a ghetto means. If I were raising a kid in one of those housing projects, I would still have at the front door, or probably right next door in the housing project, all the things that I was trying to escape. And I mean even from such things as dealing with insurance companies if I want fire insurance. You know, to the fact that in the playground, my boy and my girl will be exposed to the man who sells narcotics, for example, to a million forces which are inevitably set in motion when people are despised. You can't pretend that you're not despised if you are. You were saying yesterday that children can't be fooled. Well, I could be fooled. You know, I'd be glad about, you know, having a three-room, whatever it is, you know, smashed potatoes, terrace overlooking a garage. But if my kid won't be. It's my kids that are being destroyed. That's fantastic hypocrisy.
There's a big cereal store now. They had one big fight here at one time to hire Negroes, but they have hired a few now, in the sales department and so forth.
I'm sure they're very proud of it.
We own the city. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Now you can look down upon all of the Western Additions, the Kaiser Hospital, other large buildings that are going up, so that you can see your high-rise apartments and everything else that's taking place. And this area is only very good transportation in this area. Beautiful weather too, Jimmy. Some of the best.
Terraces too.
Oh yes.
I'm always struck by a certain blankness in American faces.
You always?
I'm always struck by a certain blankness in American faces. Kind of blank. You know, at once blank and suspicious. It's hard to describe exactly. I always think it has something to do with Negro. Something to do with the pretense Negroes don't exist.
This is a development here that really, now this is ILW housing project, which will be interracial, I will say this. People who are renting it now, 70% are Caucasian, 30% Negro. It's not completed, but they are taking a real good account of itself. I mean, they're trying to make sure that this is done.
Yeah.
Then above that will be the Eichler homes and so forth, which Eichler has always let Negroes buy if they had the money for all of their apartments. I mean, their houses cost, say, from $22,000 up to $32,000. Yeah. So naturally, this automatically eliminates a lot of people.
I conclude, correct me if I'm wrong, that all this has something to do with money. The land has been reclaimed for money, and that people are putting up their houses so they can make a profit. But it seems to me, I'm not attacking what is called a profit motive. There are some things more important than profits. I know that New York City has been turned into a desert, really, for the same reason. But it's happening in San Francisco now. It's as though the society made the assumption and certainly acts on the assumption that to make money is more important than to have citizens. We're paying too high a price for this. Because this only what it's doing to Negro children, which is, God knows, bad enough. It's what it does to white children, who grow up believing that it is more important to make a profit than it is to be a man. And that's the way that society really operates. I don't care what society says. This is what it operates. These are the goals it sets. And these goals aren't worthy of a man. Adolescents know it.
Oh, are you working on it?
No, I'm not.
Well, what has been some of your problems that you face as a Negro in San Francisco?
Well, my main problem is finding a job. Yesterday I talked to a guy, a white fellow that worked at a filling station. He been out of service 2 months and he got 2 jobs. I've been here 8 years and I worked about 3 steady jobs. And I look every day. Just like he said, he started out, he looked maybe once or twice a day. He worked at a filling station and worked longshoreman work. And he told me from his own mouth who was on top. He didn't come out and say it just like I'm going to say it, but he come out and told me that you got to know somebody in San Francisco to get somewhere. And by knowing somebody, it's got to be somebody with authority. And nobody in San Francisco, no colored man, got no authority.
I mean, there are no Negro leaders in San Francisco. Did you feel
Well,
they have
there are a few. There are a few.
Do you know any?
No, I don't know any. But the ones that get up there, they don't want to help nobody.
You know no one has ever helped you?
No, nobody would have thought it. Besides my parole officer.
Well, even the least damaged, those kids, would have to put it as mildly as it can be put at the moment. Would have to be a little sardonic about the things he sees on television, what the president says, and all those movies about being a good American, and all that jazz. And he look at this, look over there, look up here. And he would despise people, who are able to have such a tremendous gap between their performance and their profession. But the more damaged kids simply feel like blowing it up. Speaking only for myself, I feel a little sardonic, uncivilized, I think. But there's a time in my life when I would have felt just like blowing it up. What's more crucial, what's more terrible is how, since one's in the main left alone in terms of any help you can get from the country in this effort, how you get through to the least damaged kids. And I don't know what I could say which would make any sense to them, because in fact this does not make any sense.
Now, with all of these beautiful buildings, now they're going to be ringed in by hostile people, just like we have in New York.
Hostile and frightened people. Because they walk down the street and wonder why the first Negro boy they see looks at them as though he wants to kill them, and if he gets a chance, tries. And it's because he can't go to Asia, He can't. It's because he can't. He has no ground to stand here. The cat said yesterday, "I got no country. I got no flag." And it isn't because he was born paranoid that he said that. It's because the performance of the country for his 18 years on earth has proven that to him. Now, how one manages to make these people, these blind people, begin to see. I'll tell you something, baby, about that building. It has absolutely no foundation. And it really does not have any foundation. It's going to come down, one way or another. Either we will correct what's wrong, or it'll be corrected for us. Oh, God. Next to the Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church.
Yes. This is one of the real little God shops.
White people have always thought that Negroes in churches singing and dancing and praying meant that they were really quite simple-minded and happier than white people. What goes on in those little God shops, is exactly the same thing that's going on now in the Muslim temples. But no one has ever made that connection. They wanted to think we were happy, and so they did think we were happy. All designed to prove, how Christian, how simple-minded, and how uncomplicated Negroes are, and how complicated the
one of the Shabbat is one of their restaurants in San Francisco. You see that this is...
This could be called a kind of logical evolution.
Yes. And here you can buy the
church.
Mohammed Speaks here, too. A lot of times they sell them all up and down the street here on the corners. This corner here, the Edda and Turk, and also at Fillmore and Sutter is one of our favorite spots that they sell the paper.
It's kind of an answer to the real attitude toward Negroes, as exemplified still by the press, And something else that's very curious about it is something very sad and sinister about it, too. That for some things relating to Negroes, you have to buy Muhammad Speaks in order to find out what's happening. Because the white press doesn't want to know, and it still is built on the curious theory that if you don't say it, it ain't happening.
Always just forget about it.
Yeah, well, I've had, in my dealings with publishers, as a writer, as a magazine editor especially, they never said it wasn't true. They said it's not for our readers. That seems to make perfect sense to them. Doesn't make any sense at all to me. I mean, what are they in business for? But that's the way that goes.
Well, over to our left now is the old Fillmore Theater that's abandoned now, and
Or would real estate interests hope to sell to some Negro pastor?
At St.
Or
Decided
church?
to have him down for the church.
Do you think they would sell it to Malcolm for a mosque? I suppose they would. Doesn't mean anything.
Oh, yes.
Where they get the money?
And here's another one of the famous hickory pits where more soul food is sold. And there's a vacant building. And off to our left here is one Negro hotel. That's all.
The only Negro hotel?
Yes.
It's called the Booker T. Washington?
Yes.
Naturally. This is the street that all Negroes are born on. You know. The street all Negroes have to survive. Booker T. Washington, the Baptist Church, and the mosque. There's really a great history, you know, great thing to be summed up in that if one could.
Looking at this street now, the Booker T. Washington Hotel, I mean, what comes to your mind about some type of music or some passage from the Bible that describes this?
Sing the Lord's song in a strange land? I don't know. I'm sure those cats across the street can dance like, you know, their white counterparts can. And the reason they can is because in a way they must. It's got to come out somehow. It's got to come out somehow, you know. And the pressure is great enough, it has to come out in a certain kind of... Negroes have great style. I think this is true, even if it sounds chauvinistic. And white people don't have much style. And one of the reasons the Negroes have a certain style is because they are aware of the conditions of their lives. They can't fool themselves about it, you know. And when a Negro laughs or tries to make love or eats or dances, it's kind of total action. I don't mean this way white liberals are immediately going to think I mean it. I don't mean they're more sensual, more primitive, more spontaneous, and all this ethnic jazz. I mean that they live on another level of experience, which doesn't allow them as much room for make believe as white people have.
Every American black man knows that there's something that American white men are in the grip of some extraordinary sexual paranoia. And they really are. What that comes from is probably a story for some other time and place. In any case, such a long and terrible story and so complicated that one couldn't begin to discuss it except by examining, if you like, you know, such things. Well, we read Huckleberry Finn. We read William Faulkner. The range between black and white men in this country has always been the most extraordinary. At once, there's something real in it, and a terrifying invention. And it goes all the way back from the first time that any American started writing. And it has something to do with the Indian. If one could crack that nut, really, open that can of beans, if one could try to find out, and this is something white people have to do, Negroes can't do it, exactly what a Negro means to a white man. I don't mean what he means in terms of signing petitions and, you know, marching picket signs and all that jazz. I mean what he really means. No. Why are you afraid of him? That's what it comes to. If one could begin to examine that, one might then begin to be able to deal with what is a really quite simple matter, relatively speaking. That is to say, if one could examine that, then the conundrum of the housing situation in San Francisco would not be a conundrum, because it is based on that. And all the lies Americans tell themselves, and all the evasions that they give themselves, are based on some fantastic escape, partly from Europe, and then from the Indian, and now, spectacularly, from me. It's insane. But by the time I was 12 years old, in spite of everything else, I knew that I was not a monkey. No, I knew I was not one of the lower animals. I knew that if I wasn't any of those things, then obviously I was man. And all white men have known this about all black men ever since they've ever seen a black man. It's a lie to say they're ignorant of it. You can't be ignorant of it. So that means that for 400 years the country's lied about what a man is. And the bill has come in because, as it turns out, you have not succeeded in making me less than a man. But you made yourself less than a man.
What you mean? You meant something about the white liberal. I don't think the white liberal, although he feels that he's been quite close to us, I don't think that he even has been able to understand this. And especially this idea about the same thing that's been going on in the Muslim movement as well with your small church. I don't even think that although he's felt he's been real close.
I don't think he's even suspected it. No. Because, well, white liberals think of themselves as missionaries. I had a kind of fight once with a fairly well-known white liberal. And I said in the course of my conversation, something of Mr. Charlie. This man has been around for a long, long time. And he said, who's Mr. Charlie? And I was shocked that he didn't know, you know. And I told him who Mr. Charlie was. I said, you're Mr. Charlie. All white men are Mr. Charlie. But liberals have protected themselves against this level of experience because their principal motive so far been, as far as I can tell, a kind of alleviation or protection of their own consciences. They want to do something to help Negroes because it makes them feel better. But the price that they paid for this kind of effort is that they've never discovered who a Negro is. Not what, but who. Only a liberal, for example, could write the script of the Defiant Ones. No Negro could. No. Only a liberal can be offended, as John Fisher at Harper's Magazine is offended. When, you know, when Negroes make some unmistakable indication that they don't want anymore. This is the record, you see. They really think that somehow the record of the Negro people's survival in this country is something on which they can congratulate themselves. And they don't know that for every one man who survived, 20 perished. And that whatever the Negroes managed to do here was done against the tremendous opposition of the power structure. I don't mean there weren't some white people who managed, no. But in the generality, this is the way it's been. In other words, when it's fought very hard for whatever one's got.
Well, Jimmy, do you ever feel that the white liberal will ever become a foot soldier with us? I mean, he's been always at the side, giving out some information, fighting, and this and that. But do you feel that he'll become a foot soldier with us in this struggle, in this battle?
Well, I'd like to feel that he would become a foot soldier, but there's no evidence so far. He cannot become a foot soldier until he's willing to give up all those preoccupations which allow him to think that he's saving us. And until he's willing to do something even harder, just to realize that if he's going to do it, he's not doing it for me or for Negroes, he's doing it for himself. And that if it means enough to him, then he has to be prepared to risk everything he has, from his status to his child.
I mean,
so that's what we have to do.
A lot of times, you feel that the white liberal, a lot of times, that when the things gets real tough, that he can escape. I mean, he can revert back tomorrow.
When the white liberalism, when things get tough, a white woman liberal told me a few weeks ago, she had had the bad luck to be sitting in the same room with about 20 students who were telling like it is. Sterling Brown was there, and she was one of the few white liberals in the room. And what these kids were saying, in effect, was, white people don't know enough about us to be able to help us. White people say one thing and do another. All of this is absolutely true. And she was terribly, terribly hurt, bitterly hurt. And she said, I'm sure I've done more for the Negroes than they've ever done. And I got mad. And I said, that's exactly what they were saying. They don't want you to do anything for Negroes. They want you to do it for you. And she said, well, I'm not willing to damage my child, she said. And I said, well, then forget it. That is what it comes to.
Myself.
After all, speaking for myself, it's kind of insult. Here I am, as they say, no visible scars. I'm not isolated. I got a family, and a history, and I got nieces and nephews. Mm-hmm. I can't protect them. They're in tremendous danger every hour that they live, just because they're black, not because they're wicked. And I mean this from the baby niece to the oldest nephew, who's only 16. Now, if this is where they are, and I know that every time I leave my nephew, I don't know what'll happen to him by the time I see him again. I mean, not only inside, but physically. Mm-hmm. How can you expect me to take seriously somebody who says, I'm willing to fight for you, but I can't afford to let my children get, I can't afford to let my children be damaged. And furthermore, how can I take seriously somebody who doesn't realize that their children are being damaged by this, by the continuation of this system? You can't serve, as they say, two masters. The liberal can't be safe and heroic too.
In other words, you want to become so safe that he gets behind the safety zone.
Yes, that's right. He's with you, but not when the going gets rough. And no, really, what I really mean at bottom is that he doesn't, if you can think of it in those terms, you don't see the gravity of the situation. You don't see that we are living in a segregated society, and this does terrible things to my child, and does terrible things to your child, too. If you don't see that, then I don't think you see anything. Most liberals do not see that.
One of the great American illusions, one of the great American necessities, is to believe that I, poor benighted black man whom they saved, elephant-ridden jungles of Africa, to whom they brought the Bible, is still grateful for that. And people say, in many, many ways, not only in the South, all over this country, in effect, you should be grateful. Even slavery, it released you from that. You're no longer dodging tsetse flies in some backward country. Well, I know this, and anyone who's ever tried to live knows this. That what you say about somebody else, anybody else, reveals you. What I think of you as being is dictated by my own necessities, my own psychology, my own fears and desires. I'm not describing you when I talk about you. I'm describing me. Now here in this country we've got something called a nigger. It doesn't in such terms, I beg you to remark, exist in any other country in the world. We have invented the nigger. I didn't invent him. White people invented him. I've always known, I had to know by the time I was 17 years old, what you were describing was not me, and what you were afraid of was not me. It had to be something else. You had invented it, so it had to be something you were afraid of, and you invested me with. Now if that's so, no matter what you've done to me, I can say to you this, and I mean it. I know you can't do any more, and I've got nothing to lose. And I know, and I've always known, and really always, that's part of the agony. I've always known that I'm not a nigger. But if I am not the nigger, and if it's true that your invention reveals you, then who is the nigger? I am not the victim here. I know one thing from another. And I know I'm going to born and I'm going to be, I was born, I'm going to suffer, and I'm going to die. And the only way you get through life is to know the worst things about it. I know that a person is more important than anything else. Anything else. I learned this because I've had to learn it. But you still think, I gather, that the nigger is necessary. Well, he's unnecessary to me, so he must be necessary to you. So I give you your problem back. You're the nigger, baby, he isn't me.